Have you ever listened to a recording of you speaking and cringed at what you heard? Well, if you have, you won't be alone because for a lot of people, they hate the sound of their own voice. And I've been training voices now, singers and speakers, for more than 15 years. And across the board, it is very, very common. But today, I want to talk about why, if you really want to create lasting transformation with your voice, you have to get comfortable watching and listening to yourself speak. It really is the only way. And I'm going to talk more about this in today's video. So my name is Anuska Taylor, and my channel is really all about helping you access your true, authentic voice. And I blend both vocal technique, vocal function, and all the physical aspects of voice training with the deeper unconscious work, because my philosophy is your voice is an outer expression of what's going on within. And I use Jungian depth psychology to really help clients shift on a profound level how they feel about themselves, what they believe about themselves, and as a byproduct, the true voice emerges. So if you enjoy my videos, please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And finally, all the links are below if you are interested in working with me. I do have a special private voice coaching bundle available at the moment until the 7th of March. This is for International Women's Day, where you can get a 60-minute private session, a digital voice coach session, which is a detailed, personalized video back on a recording that you send me, and also access to my Free Your Mind, Free Your Voice online course, which has got 5-star reviews. And all of this for £375. Normally, this would set you back at least £500. So the link is below if you are interested in that. But let's talk about this now. So when I work privately with clients, from day one, I ask them to start sending me videos. So once we've had the first session and I've given them some things to work on, I want them to send me videos. And normally there's some resistance. They might take a few weeks to send me anything because people are very, very uncomfortable recording themselves and watching back. And then sometimes they'll send me a video and they haven't even watched it. So I'll say, well, did you notice that you did X, Y, Z? And they're like, no, because I didn't even look at it. So really, if you want to really transform your voice, you have to get comfortable watching and listening to yourself speak. Why? Because so many of your habits, you will have no idea that you do. And more importantly, with the voice, you are hearing your voice in a way that no one else hears your voice, through air and bone conduction. Everyone else is purely hearing it through air conduction. So you will hear it differently. It's probably going to sound a bit deeper and a bit richer than what everyone else hears. So if you want to actually have a true gauge of what your voice really sounds like, then you need to listen back to a recording. Now, I recommend you watch yourself as well, because I'm going to talk about this in a minute, because so many of the habits that people have that are hindering their voice are very much around what their body is doing, what their face is doing, what their jaw, what their lips are doing or not doing. And you don't know in the moment that you're even doing it. So many of these habits, well, most of them are so unconscious, you're not even aware. So if you're not listening to yourself, if you're not watching yourself, you're really holding yourself back from accessing more freedom, more expression, more power, more openness, more spontaneity. And this is really, for me, this is your true voice. So before I start, though, I just want to share that I really do understand why this is so uncomfortable for people. Although I personally have never really struggled with listening to my voice, I have really struggled with videoing myself and watching myself, particularly singing. And I did a live session recently and I had 3 cameras kind of following me, and it was so uncomfortable. I'm fine with this kind of thing because I'm in control of the camera, but having people like following me around and kind of in my face with a camera, I had no control over what they were recording and what I looked like. And I hated it. I really, really hated it. And I didn't want to watch the video back. But I knew I needed to see what I actually really look like when I'm singing, because we do funny things. We do weird things with our body, with our face. And then, of course, the voice as well. You just really don't know if you don't watch yourself. So the first thing I want to say is often when people listen back to a recording, particularly when I've given them some feedback and some guidance and some ideas on how to perhaps enhance their voice or open their voice up, In our head, we've got used to hearing our voice in a particular way. So then if I give you some direction to perhaps find more power, find more clarity, it's going to sound perhaps in your head a little bit over the top, a little bit weird. No, I can't speak like that. People will think there's something wrong with me. But then you listen to a recording and actually it sounds really good. So there's two ways this can work, actually. Listening to a recording can not only allow you to accept a new way of speaking, which you may have discounted before, but actually your voice sounds better. And you just don't know, because if you're in your head and you've got used to your voice in a particular way, your mind is just going to shut it down and say, no, that's too over the top, that's too theatrical, that's too loud, that's too quiet, fill in the blank. But when you record yourself, you can almost take a step back because you're not in your head while you're speaking, and you can listen back, hopefully with a bit more compassion for yourself, but also putting a little bit of a gap between yourself and what you're listening to. And think to yourself, okay, does this actually improve the quality, the tone of my voice? Do I sound more expressive, more engaging, more powerful? Now, often for clients, I find that they do, when they actually dare to listen back, when we've done some work together, they're like, yeah, okay, it does sound better. So another thing I do with clients is I record all their sessions so they can listen back to the before and the after, so they can hear it for themselves. So that's really important when you're speaking in the moment. There's so much going on. You can't possibly be aware of everything. But if you record yourself and then listen back, you can then start to pay attention to what's really going on with your voice. And you might find it's better than you thought. Now, equally, of course, it could be worse than you thought, but at least then you can do something about it versus if you have no idea. So that's the first thing. It's really going to open your mind to what's working and what's not working. The other one that I've alluded to, and something, as I say, for myself being videoed, is we do weird things with our body, with our face when we speak. And a lot of the things that people are doing with their, particularly like facial movements or not moving their face, are actually really hindering their voice. So common example is people not moving their jaw. They talk like this, but they don't know that they're not moving their jaw because they're so used to not moving their jaw. Now, if you don't video yourself, you don't know that your jaw is barely moving and it's very tense. Or another common one is people's top lip doesn't really move and they sort of talk like this through the bottom lip. So for powerful, clear, open freedom with your voice, you want both lips to be engaged, both lips to be moving. And so again, if this is your default way of speaking, you don't even know that your top lip isn't moving. You've just always spoken like this and you don't know. So there's just a couple of examples. Another thing as well, when people are perhaps intonating and trying to access higher parts of their voice, often the body, because we're trying to overcompensate for a lack of sort of technical skill with our voice, the body will often try and assist the pitch. So you might find that you move your chin up, or your nose goes up, or your eyebrows go up, or your nostrils flare, and your body is trying to kind of assist. And of course, your nostrils don't have any impact on the pitch in your voice, but the body just tries to get involved. And you are then actually just creating tension through your face. So facial expression also, you might have a lot of tension through your neck when you speak, particularly if you're trying to project your voice and maybe there's a lot of strain and force. You might find the veins pop out around your neck. You might find that your shoulders are around your ears. You might find that your chest is very tight or puffed up. But all of these things are really ultimately hindering your voice, and you won't know unless you are watching yourself. Now, of course, the other way of doing this, which I also recommend to clients, is if you're practicing a presentation, practice in front of a mirror, practice in front of put Zoom on and just stand in front of your Zoom video and practice. Because then you can see, what is my body doing? What is my face doing? Is my jaw soft and open? Are my lips moving? Is my face doing something weird? Are my eyebrows getting involved when they don't need to be? So all of that, you will not know unless you record yourself and watch yourself, because you have just got into unconscious habits, which are then really hindering your voice. So it's not just about the sort of the physicality of the actual larynx and what's going on with the voice itself, but it's all the muscles around the larynx, because your voice is a full body, mind, spirit instrument. So I think it's also worth saying that it's unlikely anyone is ever going to give you honest feedback. And if they do give you honest feedback, it's probably not going to be very helpful. It might be a bit bitchy or critical or unhelpful. But for most people, they're either not going to say anything because they don't want to hurt your feelings, or if they do say something, they'll say it behind your back. But either way, it's not actually helping you, because what you want is honest feedback, but you also want a solution with what you do with it. Because there's no point someone saying to you, well, you sounded really boring when you spoke, but I'm not giving you any solutions to that. If you work with a coach like myself, I'm going to share what I'm hearing, but I'm also going to very quickly give you a solution. So I'm not going to be tearing you down for the sake of it. It's very much trying to help you access more of your voice. And honestly, most people are not going to be that honest. Now, if they are that honest, then you're not going to know what to do with it anyway. And one of the things I notice with particularly the clients I work with, they only get the honest feedback, maybe in their performance review at the end of the year, their 360 review. And people have said, look, you need to improve your presentation skills because we can't really hear you. Your voice lacks power. It's not very engaging. And if you really want to go to the next level, if you want that promotion, you're going to have to communicate more coherently, more powerfully, more clearly, with more engagement. But again, you need the solution. Otherwise, it's just criticism, isn't it? It's not really very helpful. And so this is where working with someone like myself, I can be the mirror for you. So I can actually point out things that you're doing that you would probably have no idea that you're doing. And I hear this all the time from people. I didn't know I did that when I spoke. And then we can start to bring awareness to it, and then you can do something about it. And you'll be amazed at how when you start to even like open and free and relax the body and the face and the neck, how much more the voice can actually function. Because if you're holding tension through your body or your face or your neck, it almost doesn't matter what's going on within the larynx because you're still putting a block on your voice. So it's all got to work together. It's got to be like this beautiful orchestra. It's all got to come together. All the moving parts have got to work together. And I do think it's very, very, very difficult to do by yourself. But if you really don't want to work with a coach, then what I would suggest, as I say, is stand in front of a mirror and see what you can do about maybe some of the quirky things that you do when you speak. But it is really difficult and it is confronting. And I get that because I've had to watch myself through many, many uncomfortable videos, particularly singing, I think for me, more so than speaking, because for me with singing, I tend to very easily get lost in the moment. And then I can find that my face or my hands or my body sort of does weird things because I'm not thinking about it. Whereas I feel like often with speakers, they're very in their head. And then often then the body is also sort of in that fight or flight, frozen, rigid, restricted place as well. So as I said at the start, if this is something that is really holding you back, if you know that your voice isn't where it really needs to be, and you know that there is more there, there's more power, there's more clarity, there's more expression, which is available to anyone regardless of accent, please do take advantage of this offer, this private voice coaching bundle. Really let me help you be a mirror to you to show you what's possible with your voice. Now, if you want to go all in and you want to get the biggest transformation that's possible, my 8-month private voice coaching program, Speak with Impact, is the way to go because I can go really deep with you emotionally and also look at the physical side of this as well. But even if you just want to try it and see what it's like, see how I can help you, then please do book that. And it's only available for 2 more weeks. So you want to get onto that and you have to have taken the first session before the 7th of March. So I hope this has been helpful. Please let me know in the comments what your experience of this has been. And obviously, if you have any questions, post them below. Get onto it if you want to book that private voice coaching bundle with me. But if not, I will see you on my next video.